Israel-Palestine War. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a complex and long-standing political and territorial dispute between Israelis, primarily Jewish, and Palestinians, primarily Arab, in the Middle East. It revolves around competing claims to the same territory, particularly the region historically known as Palestine. Historical background. The conflict has deep historical roots, going back to the late 19th century. Zionism, a movement advocating for a Jewish homeland in Palestine, gained momentum, especially in Europe. Balfour Declaration, 1917. The Balfour Declaration, issued by the British government, expressed support for a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This laid the groundwork for Jewish immigration into the region during the British Mandate period, 1920 to 1948. Partition and Independence, 1947 to 1948. As British control over Palestine waned, the United Nations proposed a plan to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. The Jewish leadership accepted the plan, but the Arab leadership rejected it, leading to the Arab-Israeli War of 1948 to 1949. Result of the war. The war resulted in the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948. The borders were different from those proposed by the UN, and a significant number of Palestinians were displaced. 1956 Suez Crisis, 1967 Six-Day War, and 1973 Yom Kippur War. These were subsequent conflicts involving Israel, neighboring Arab states, and Palestinian groups. The outcomes often shifted territorial control and influenced regional dynamics. Occupation and settlements. After the 1967 war, Israel occupied the West Bank, Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights. This led to the establishment of Israeli settlements in these territories, which is a contentious issue in the conflict. Palestinian resistance and liberation movements. Groups like the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, emerged to advocate for Palestinian self-determination. The PLO, led by figures like Yasser Arafat, pursued both political and armed struggle. Oslo Accords, 1993 to 1995. The Oslo Accords were a series of agreements between Israel and the PLO aimed at establishing a framework for Palestinian self-governance in parts of the West Bank and Gaza Strip. Peace process and stalled negotiations. Despite various attempts at peace negotiations, a final status agreement that resolves the core issues, borders, refugees, Jerusalem, etc., has remained elusive. Gaza Strip and West Bank. The Gaza Strip is controlled by the Palestinian political group Hamas, while the West Bank is governed by the Palestinian Authority, PA, which is dominated by Fatah.